All right, welcome everyone. We're joined by Chris McCammon,
Hi, everybody.
Hot Laps. I think that's the nickname you've gotten in our Discord channel.
Yeah, that's so funny. I've never had a nickname like that before. So,
Thanks for joining us, Chris. I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about what's going on at Aptera. I know probably you don't want to give away too much since you're filming the August update now,
yeah.
and you probably want to save stuff for that. But mainly, I wanted to talk to you about the whole Pebble Beach event and kind of get your firsthand take on that. So first of all, like, was that kind of a spur of the moment thing to go to that?
It was planned for a little bit. Basically,
Uh,
with US Capital, we have kind of like an events schedule of events
oh,
that
I
they
see.
think we should go to.
Okay.
So this was the first of those events. So the
It,
next one is the Battery in San Francisco on Friday, the 13th of September. So that's the next one on the tour. So they bring us to places that there's a lot of high net worth people.
okay, so it was a suggestion from them for you guys to go to this thing.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was great. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a great place to meet people who like cool vehicles, so it worked out really well, just from a
Yeah.
perspective too.
All right. So you guys like trucked the Gamma vehicle up there.
Yep,
And that's because the Gamma vehicle has like a 10 kilowatt hour battery, right?
that's right. And yeah, I mean, it's it was me, Jerry, and Audra in the truck, so it's three
Uh-huh.
people. But it's good to shield it in case of anything, right? So, but
Okay.
we unloaded it at the hotel, the Asilomar Hotel. It's like a campgrounds. That's kind of like 15 minutes away maybe from the event. Then we just drove Gamma around like the whole weekend, and it was super fun. So
Uh-huh. So yeah, tell me how that was like. So you guys like went to the hotel and then you drove it around that 17-mile drive. Some people thought that 17-mile drive means like it's 17 miles of driving, which
yeah,
maybe it is, but that's just the name of the road, right?
I think that's a great question. We're on the part that went through Pebble Beach and through the actual event, so I don't know
Uh-huh.
if it keeps going, but
Yeah.
it was only a couple miles, like the part that I drove on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, that was cool. Yeah, I mean, we you know basically brought Aptera everywhere that we could get it throughout the event. So I was, driving by the hotels at Pebble Beach, kind of where all the events were happening. The
Uh-huh.
cool thing with Aptera is everyone thinks it's so awesome. So you just get to go wherever you want.
Uh-huh.
But we had a lot of different kind of spots planned out that we visited. So got to meet the Lucid CEO, for example. So we saw quite a few people from industry as well.
Oh, cool. So you guys met with Peter Rawlinson.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think his engineering is really good.
Oh yeah, I
Stock's
agree.
not doing so great, but but I think the vehicles are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it
Um,
was it was neat because there's not very often that we get the chance to treat Gamma like it's a normal vehicle because we always shelter it and keep it for test rides and things like that. But during this event, we just drive it like a normal Aptera, right? So we're solar charging all day, we're driving around, meeting people, just popping open the trunk and handing out hundreds of sunglasses and stickers and driving all over the place. So I think it's a good kind of template for future events for us, especially when there's more PI vehicles too. But even with Gamma, I mean, it's great. Like just me and one other marketing person, or whoever, two people driving the Aptera, stopping places. I feel like it works really well. So
so you would just like park it someplace and people would show up?
it's nuts. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like that, I guess, all the time, but
Uh-huh.
I thought it'd be like, there's supercars everywhere. They're all like $20 million vehicles. Like, there's no way we're still going to get the same crowds we get everywhere. But,
Right.
you know, I mean, we pull off on the 17-mile drive at the beach or something, and immediately, like, we're boxed in at all sides just by the public, right? They're all like, what is that? Oh my gosh. Um,
It was like
so
almost immediate, like as soon as
immediate.
you,
you
yeah.
you literally like I'm like going back to open the trunk, and already like we're boxed in, like we can't leave. So we're like blocking traffic. Like, oh my gosh. So I felt like I was a celebrity. I mean, just pretty funny, like they probably thought we were some big shots or something, but
And so what percentage of the people had heard of Aptera and kind of knew what it was about and was like, oh, cool, like I've seen this on the internet and I get to see it in person. And what percentage of people were like, what in the world is that thing?
I'd say less than 1% of people knew what Aptera was.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
is
every once in a
shocking.
while there'd be like a diamond in the rough who's like, I've seen that, or like I know what that is.
Okay.
But the vast majority had no clue and just thought it was a spaceship that landed from outer space, and were very intrigued. So
Well, that is like shocking to us, like in Aptera land, where we feel
yeah,
like I thought maybe like 10-25% of people would have at least heard of it. Because like
yeah,
I think like because a lot of us do Aptera, like go to Aptera's website and stuff, the Aptera like ads show up on our, you know, internet. Like we get the ads for it and we're like, well, we're getting inundated with ads for it.
yeah.
But I guess it's not that many people that have heard of it. It's
No, and
shocking.
that's always a good takeaway at events like this is we're just scratching the surface, and I think we got over 500, maybe even more Instagram followers that weekend. That's what
Okay.
Audra said. But that's
Wow.
just from us driving around with a QR code for a couple days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of nuts. And a lot of people super interested when you put, you leave the vehicle, you're like, they're like, oh my gosh, that looks like that's $1 million.
Uh-huh.
And but the funny thing is this audience is like, I'd pay $1 million for that, right?
Right. Yeah, they
um,
literally would pay $1 million because
they
these
literally
people, some
would.
of these people are paying like $20 million for a car, right?
Yeah. So when I say, we're targeting mid 30s for the launch edition, they're like, are you serious? Like,
Uh-huh.
like I
Yeah.
want multiple of those. I'm like, whoa. So it's an interesting market. I'm not used to like so many people who are rich too, who are
Right.
looking at it and also think it's cool. So I mean, I know we think it's cool, but like it's kind of nuts how everyone thinks it's cool.
Yeah. Like when,
Yeah.
when you guys announced that you're going to that, I had not heard of this event. So I
Yeah,
Googled
me
it
neither.
and then I like looked up the website. I'm like, oh yeah, these are like people way above my pay grade. That go to these. That's why I don't know about it.
Yeah.
Um, but so were most of the people that you met there people from the event or people that just happened to be there for other reasons?
It's an interesting event because it's this kind of small town where there's not that many people who live there
Yeah.
year round, and
Yeah.
then suddenly the town is insanely packed for
Okay.
the event. So it's probably like 95% people from the event who were there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I also hadn't heard about it either. It was pretty cool, like to see, cars from like the 1920s and 30s that are fully look brand new, like because they're
Uh-huh.
they're all restored. So it's neat. There's actually the wedge class this year at the Concours d'Elegance,
Uh-huh.
which is a bunch of kind of aerodynamic, weird looking vehicles.
Okay.
So I feel like I don't know if you've seen like the low poly car that's just like it kind of looks like a box.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was there. So I mean, it's funny because it's generally older cars. So I'm like, maybe in 50 years there'll be an Aptera from 2025 or whatever,
Right.
because it's
But
generally
sometimes
older cars.
sometimes some of those like supercar manufacturers like introduce new models there. Like I think the Bugatti was
Right.
introduced there a few years ago and
Right.
things
Yeah.
like
So
that.
so part of when we go to events like this at the US Capitol is you know, there's a agenda, I guess you could
Uh-huh.
say. So like we went to like this Maybach Foundation event, which is
Uh-huh.
an event with a lot of high net worth individuals, and us in US Capitol, we're going to that. So we're on a yacht, met with more rich people. So
Uh-huh.
that's kind of the purpose of these events.
Sure.
It's like a two, I guess what you guys see and what I see most of is like the community and the public. But I feel like, Chris Anthony and Blake are, they're all kind of in that other world at the same time. So it does a
Right.
lot of good in multiple ways.
Well, I mean, this was kind of the thing that we were thinking about like before is like Aptera should go to a bunch of events where a lot of high net worth individuals are,
Right.
and so this is one of them. And, I guess I forget what the others were, but there's some locally around here that are like that. And I'm sure US Capitol is like, those are the events that they're targeting.
Right.
So can you guys, are you allowed to say, is there any movement on that? Are people buying those things?
For
Um,
for the
for
60 million
the
convertible
$60
note.
million convertible note thing.
There's
Like,
movement for sure. I think
okay,
that's all I can say about it is there's movement.
okay, all right.
But yeah, these events are continuing the momentum, I'd say.
Mhm.
Generally, I think with a convertible note, you start to get some people in it, and then more people are jealous, or no one wants to be the first. That's always been the tough thing with investing. No one wants to necessarily lead around, but like I think we're past that initial stage where people are like more able to jump in, more excited to jump in, right? Because they're not some of the first anymore. So
Okay.
it's a good place to be. I think these events will help a lot that we're
How
doing.
many events does US Capital have you guys slated to go to?
This first one, we have one more that we're committing to. Then we're gonna see how it plays out in terms of the round before
Okay.
we
So
commit to
like there's
more.
this
So
one and there's the battery. And if the round like fills out, then you're like, okay, we don't need to do any
yeah,
more events.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. I mean, we might still do some because it's helpful,
Uh-huh.
but I think it's in the 3 or 4, 2 to 4 range maybe that
Okay.
we're doing. So
Okay.
it's not like forever we're going to do these, but you always need money, right? So it's good to go to places like this.
Are the questions that people are asking like the same questions that you always hear, or is there anything new that you guys heard this time around?
Yeah, a lot of the same. A lot of does it fly, of course. I think that's the
Uh-huh.
number one
Oh, really? People
question.
ask whether it flies?
That's the number one. So when you have your
That's
Aptera, that'll be the
funny.
number one.
Yeah, there should be like a by the way, everyone loved it that you guys finally put the name Aptera on the windshield so that
Yeah.
like people would know
Yeah.
what it is. You're
I
like,
got some
what is
cling
this thing?
wrap.
Well, you can look at the windshield.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's the first time using cling wrap. It's super obvious in retrospect. So
Uh,
now we're just going to cling wrap it for events. But I mean, it had like the launch specs on the window, and
uh,
like it helps because we were overwhelmed, I'd say, the whole time
oh
by
yeah,
people. So it's good that they can get some of their questions answered, at least get to the website, right? So
right, right.
um let's see. The In this particular one, there was a little bit more like, can I invest in this? Or
Okay.
we would talk about the convertible note, which is
Yeah,
something we
how
don't.
many people do you were interested in investing? The
Oh,
people that saw it, do you think?
man,
10%?
like
5%?
5 to 10%, which is pretty good
Yeah,
for
no, that's
usually
really
it's like
good.
zero in
Yeah,
a public setting.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'd be parked at Ocean Avenue, like we just gotten dinner, we came back. There's just people, even the people trickling through, like when it's late at night,
Uh-huh.
they came from a bar or something. They're like, hmm, I could see myself investing a lot in that. Tell me about the convertible note. And it's like, whoa,
Oh,
I'm not used to those questions.
right.
Um, so a lot of it's like we say the basics were like, US Capital, you got to talk to US Capital
Uh,
to get all the details and talk with them, right? But we can funnel them to that. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's a very unique event. I mean, that's my first time in Central California, really, too. So that was kind of cool.
oh yeah, that area is beautiful. I've
Oh my
only been there
gosh.
once, but is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, and we got to meet with one of the early Aptera investors who happens to go and bring he has some classic cars, like one of the first investors of Aptera in
Uh-huh.
this time around. Drive him around in Gamma. So I mean, it was pretty cool, to meet someone like that who's helped jumpstart this whole company. I would say his name, but I don't know if he wants to be outed or not. But
Sure.
we had a great time, and I mean, I was just driving Gamma around for we were just driving around for a couple hours, chatting and going different places, and yeah, it's neat to be able to do that because we're so busy day to day
Uh-huh.
doing content and stuff to just kind of enjoy being in an Aptera. So
How many times did you have to charge the car?
we would just charge it every night.
Okay.
Because it's the prototype pack. We just plugged into a 110 volt. We had a covered garage
Hmm.
that we in the Silomar, so we just pull it in and yeah, plug it in. But it lasted the whole day, no problem. And the nice thing was the solar charging. So even when we were doing events, we were gaining range back
Yeah, that's what I
while
was
we
kind
were
of getting
parked.
at is like, was there enough solar charging that you like essentially
Yeah,
didn't need to charge or
yeah, for sure. I mean, we just wanted to always
because you
have
guys
the
weren't driving that much.
no, no. I mean, we were driving more than like we usually drive it, I'd say,
How much like how
and
many miles a day do you think you drove?
maybe 30, 40,
Okay.
maybe something like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, quite a bit. And we were testing the test pack, like, how much drain do you get just leaving the lights on and stuff. And because it's a prototype, it has a lot of phantom drain, right, in Gamma.
Sure.
So quite a lot. But so I was like, oh my gosh, like are we going to have enough range for everything? I was thinking, right? But
Uh-huh.
then when we're out in the sun, totally different story than in
Yeah.
the warehouse. So we tested in the warehouse, no solar, but once you
Uh-huh.
turn on the solar, you're just gaining range. So it is really cool.
And so did a lot of people get rides in Gamma? I know you guys were using it, you were thinking about using it as like a shuttle vehicle, but maybe not like the
Yeah.
best shuttle vehicle since it's a two-passenger vehicle, so only
Yeah.
one person could ride at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. People kept asking us about that at the event too. We tried to shuttle select people who were very interested in the convertible note.
I
So
see.
that's kind of our way. That was a good way into the event, to
Uh-huh.
be a shuttle, right?
Uh-huh.
So we did do a few, not as much as I thought we would, just because we were always swamped with people, and it seemed more beneficial to just park and have hundreds of people see it
Sure.
than be gone and no one can find it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we ended up, I think, parking more than I thought, but this was a great learning experience for, I'm thinking about when we have the PI road trip where we're, maybe it's me and Audra or me and Quincy or whoever, but we just drive
Yeah.
across the US and pop up
Yeah.
places. And I mean, you don't need a lot of crew for that, you just,
No.
it's super simple. Just the vehicle sells itself. We didn't need tents or anything crazy like that. So
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah, I tell people like I think one of the things is like if you're because you're kind of an introvert, right, Chris?
I am actually, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, this is maybe not the vehicle for an introvert. But then a lot of people in the comments were like, hey, I'm an introvert, but I don't mind people like checking it out. I just like don't need to talk to them for a long time. I just
Yeah.
like put a QR code on your car and you're happy to kind of interact, a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I
But you
think when
are
it's about
gonna,
Aptera, it's more okay for me to talk, because but
yeah,
if it's like about, yeah, it's tough to talk to strangers unless you have something to talk about. So
right.
this works out. You're like, you want a sticker, and then you get in a conversation.
Uh-huh.
So
But it definitely is gonna attract a lot of attention, no matter
I
where you go.
I'm continuously blown away, and I feel like it was
Mm,
more crazy here than even locally, which is already crazy. Like
mm,
you saw us just going to In and Out. All
right,
these kids are coming up, random people are coming up while we're waiting in line for In and Out.
right.
Um, yeah, I don't think anyone's prepared for that. I don't even know if you can prepare for it. It's super strange. Like you
Right.
feel like
So
you're a
this
celebrity.
was like way more than attention than you guys got at like the surfing event, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, you know, we were just driving where all the people were this
Hmm.
time. In
Hmm.
the surf event, we're at a hotel kind of in an off street.
Hmm.
This time we were like, we gotta just go where the people are. So every time, it was dinner time, we'd go to uh Carmel by the sea and like, drive down Ocean Avenue and everyone's there like for the event. So
Gotcha.
yeah, when there's no traffic on the road, you don't get as much, which is nice for some things, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was crazy because we were just driving down Carmel by the sea and there's like this red carpet that's like, dedicated to all these supercars,
Uh-huh.
and they just waved us right in.
Oh, really?
So that's how we were on the red carpet for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think when you're an Aptera owner, you'll kind of get preferential treatment, like your valet. If you do valet, your
Uh-huh.
vehicle will always be at the front. There's
Right.
all these things that help. So it's fascinating.
Huh. That is cool. I also did notice in one of the pictures that you guys released that Chris had this like Aptera suit.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, that was
hilarious.
actually one of the bankers from US Capital.
Oh, was that right? Okay, that's
Yes,
not Chris.
no,
So he had like an Aptera suit made. I was
yeah,
like, wow, that is attention grabbing. That is
yeah,
bold.
right. Every time you see the vehicle with the logo, it's like I'm the banker for that, right? So
That's fun. Okay, I thought that was Chris Anthony, but that's one of the
yeah,
bankers.
yeah.
That's
So the
funny.
banker, it looks like from the back, it really did look like him.
Yeah, yeah. I just assumed that was him.
Yeah,
And I was
we
like,
got
oh,
to.
you know what? Chris, he's taking one for the team. He's wearing that thing around. It's
Yeah,
definitely gonna catch attention.
we should get him one.
Yeah.
But it was neat. We got to, meet with Drew from Tailosive and went out to dinner with him and
Oh
his
yeah, he
wife
told me about
and
that.
everything. So, I mean, he got to witness it, firsthand too, how crazy it was. I saw him make a video about it.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's nice to catch up with, Aptera reservation holders and people who are really in the community. So
Yeah.
I was surprised, honestly, and I get it's because we probably published it, very last minute, but
Uh-huh.
there was almost no existing like people who came like to the event to see Aptera. It was mostly just people who were at the event and have never heard of it. So
Yeah. And
I'm not
you
used to
said
it.
you got 500 new followers on Instagram
I
after
think
this.
so. I think
So you
so.
guys must have interacted with thousands of people.
Yeah, yeah. And then the QR code I think helped when you're driving around, everyone was snapping pictures and it
Uh-huh.
actually went somewhere, right? Instead of being like, huh, spaceship, I don't know what that is. And then you don't get
Right.
any, interaction from that. So I think
Yeah.
next event it's gonna say like tag us at Aptera Motors on Instagram and I'm making some more cling wraps. So
Yeah.
I think it'll spread quicker that way,
Because you definitely saw that everyone was taking photos and videos. Like everyone had their phone out.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous.
You will be
But
recorded in the thing.
yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, when we were on Ocean Ave, people are literally blocking the street because they want to look at it from the other angle. And I was like, whoa. And then the police were like, hey, you guys gotta like step away from the
Uh-huh.
road. So there's like crowd control happening just around this one vehicle. So
Mhm.
that's strange. And we're parked against like a bunch of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, like on the exact same road right next to us. But
Right. Everyone's like, we've seen those before, but what is that thing?
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a weird experience, an owner experience for like the first couple of years, maybe even like first 5 years, or it's so
Yeah.
different that I think it'll be unique for a while. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, so we've also been seeing a bunch of pictures on your channels about, the three Binks have come in for PI 2 through 4, and there's some chassis pieces coming in from a
Mhm.
local shop. Um, so how's that going? Are you guys assembling those things already?
Yeah, it's going good. Yeah, the Binks are getting trimmed. They should be back in a couple days.
Oh, they're being
And then
trimmed
they're ready.
somewhere else.
Yeah, just but locally, they're being trimmed locally at a composite shop.
I
It
see.
just, it helps because all our engineers are busy. They don't want to be trimming composites, right? So
I see.
we're doing stuff like that with some local partners for these
Hmm.
builds, just to get the parts ready. But yeah, in the monthly update, you'll kind of see the latest of everything.
Okay.
But generally speaking, the monthly update is all about in the next few weeks, things are about to get nuts. So I think that's the key highlight of the monthly update is in a couple of weeks, like we're gonna be blowing up the social media with progress and stuff. So we're
Okay.
right on the cusp of some good stuff.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll have to wait for the update. When can you tell us when that's happening?
Updates probably happening Friday or Saturday, depending on how long it takes to edit. Probably Friday.
Okay.
Um, so that'll be great. We'll have some good footage in there, and then I think this month of September is gonna be crazy.
All right.
And we'll be in San Francisco on September 14th. So anyone who's up there, we're currently
Sep
finalizing what location we'll be meeting.
September 14th.
Yeah, but it's on the radar of everybody. So first
Okay.
time we'll be in Northern California. I guess San Luis Obispo was like the closest up. So yeah, this will be the first time we're in San Francisco. So
Okay. Well, you guys, there's a lot of Northern California people that
yeah.
are in the community, so
Well,
they will be
I'm
very
curious.
excited.
Maybe they want to in the comments if you are from, you know, San Francisco area in a 50-mile radius and you're free on the 14th, maybe someone can let us know or you can make a poll or something. I'm curious how big this might be. I feel like
Okay.
this could be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Comment below, and I'll put up a poll as well.
Yeah, I'm curious because like, do we need to, just be at a local park or do we need to like plan for like 100+ people?
Right. Got it.
So
It'll help with the planning. All
that'll
right.
be good.
Well, thanks, Chris. I just wanted to have a short little update with
Yeah,
you.
that's fun.
Appreciate and always enjoy talking to you.
You too. Yeah, it's a exciting, really exciting time for us. So
Okay. Sounds like I probably need to try to figure out a time to come down maybe in September sometime.
yeah, I think you might be right.
Okay. All
September or
right.
October, depending on how much you want to see. But
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll talk offline about that.
cool. Sounds great, man.
All right. Have a good night, Chris.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.